Yes.
Live in these times, I can't deny that. Are you happier? Are you happy with the convenience you have?
Oh shit.
I think so.
You think so?
I think, for me, I saved my fucking ass that I could do that. Otherwise, I would have had to, panic, drive
Yeah.
to Best Buy to do this. Instead, someone else drove to Best Buy and then brought it to my house. And I, quite frankly, didn't want to do that. So I don't know. I think I'm happier. But I think this comes from I feel like I have the self-control to be able to decide when I've had enough. But I don't know if everyone has that.
No, everyone
not
does
everyone-
that.
not everyone
Like, it
has
took,
that.
just the fucking, the will of gods just to uninstall, X, Twitter, onto my phone. Even though I know how fucking unhealthy that is. And why did it take so much fucking effort to do that?
Yeah.
You know? And...
Well, maybe it's because our jobs are more reliant on the internet.
Also, push notifications.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
BBC News, right? What they classify as breaking news.
Yeah.
Don't fucking send me a push notification with this shit.
Yeah.
I think these apps should only be allowed to send me a fucking notification if it's important. Do you like your phones?
like not only has just the audience space for anime gotten larger, but the demand has gotten larger because of that, and therefore there is more pressure on most studios now to just make higher quality products, you know. And I think like regardless of your current taste and like your nostalgia and things like that, 'cause I'm trying to take away my nostalgia just to leave it. There's nothing wrong with high quality stories. Like, if they fucking animated Danganronpa back in 2005, I don't think it would have been good as if they made it today. Or with most of these. Gachakta couldn't be made in 2005.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I think this would actually be a harder question if it wasn't 2005 versus 2025. It was 2000s versus 2020s.
Because I feel like
2000s anime, even if it was just 2010s anime versus 2020s anime, that would be a lot harder of a conversation. Because I think in the 2000s, the anime industry was kind of adopting digital animation, and I think a lot of the 2000s anime is characterized by, them figuring out how to make digital animation look good. And so every banger you got, there were a lot of shows you were watching and you're like, audiences, especially with
It's very distinct.
yeah, you look at 90s fantasy, and it's such a different vibe to like everything post 2000 fantasy.
Definitely.
Then you started the whole isekai trend, and you know, instead of getting transported to a world and people trying to get back to the original world, it's more about the escapism of going to another world and staying there. Being a so yeah, I would say it's really a much tougher question. If it was any other year than the 2000s era, because I do think that this was an era that was fucking magazines and shit. This is the year. But it was an era looking at where anime
Identity of like this is what it is currently, and then when the century rolled over, people were like, I don't know, maybe we should, you know, figure out what we're trying to do. And this was, I mean, I love the fact as well, by the way, that half of these shows are left from 2005. So,
yeah, it's kind of weird that
well, like, these photos are from the 90s, so
yeah, that is weird.
yeah, anyway.
Like
Well, we get the point.
Yeah. Alright, should we move on?
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Cash App. If you're a regular listener to Trash Taste, you know we hate dealing with Japanese financial services. If only we had a service like Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform that lets users send and receive money, pay for goods and services, and access banking features like a direct deposit and customizable debit card. One of the coolest things about Cash App is that you can actually design your own debit cards. If you want to make it weeb themed, that's all up to you as well. Cash App customers get exclusive discounts for things like coffee, boba, video games, and more. And if you're the type who loves concerts and exclusive drops, your Cash App gets you early access to ticket sales for huge tours like Kendrick Lamar and Sabrina Carpenter. You also don't need to worry about any random monthly charges or minimum balance requirements. It's a financial tool that works for you.
this 20 years ago, and it's only gotten and now it's only gotten worse.
Yeah. But that being said, on the flip side, yeah, TV I think is more interesting and almost better than it's ever been.
I literally have no opinion because I just don't really watch TV shows, and I never really did back in the day either. So yeah, I'm only specifically talking about movies.
Like the Alien show, and that's really a series. That is a franchise.
Need to have like 15 seasons of 20.
have to think about when you are a teenager. So that's a real problem.
Is less to do with, you know, the quality of the TV show itself. Because for me, there's been the philosophy of I don't need to watch something unless I feel like watching it. Something like this is the thing right now. I need to watch it. There's no other thing. I feel like watching this thing right now.
But also, I think a really important aspect of this is that when you say, like, okay, it takes 5 years to make it, I don't think it takes 5 years to make it because they're taking more time to cook. I think it takes longer because the business. Like, I think these studios are not comfortable greenlighting multiple seasons. I think maybe there's too many. Because it takes longer. I think it takes longer.
Alright, boys, that was enough. We ranked up.
areas, there are still a lot more choice of just different foods. Whereas before,
It's not meant for food. You can go to the supermarket and get ready meals. There are Indian food, Chinese food.
also there's just so much more like dietary options as well for people who need to be on like certain dietary options. It was so hard to back in 2005
So
to find
much
something.
easier watching what you're eating.
Absolutely.
So the ability to share information.
Yes.
You can track online. There's a lot more.
I will say that's the one good thing about like TikToks and shorts is that I found some great fucking recipes for it. It's so hard to find just the catered towards more of an adult fan base that clearly is like based on the nostalgia, say for instance. Toys even exist anymore? Say like, Toys
Once you stop playing with toys, I'm like this. And like a third of these things in 2005 are like dog shit things from like
Beyblades?
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I think, and you also had to make, like, because toys were, I feel like, such a bigger market in
Yes.
the early 2000s. You had to really make some cool toys.
Absolutely. Because we did not have the internet to help distract us.
Or like Temu, fucking, you can get so much garbage for so cheap now.
Yeah.
But like, toys were quite expensive back then. If you were to buy one of these things, like, it had to kind of be good.
How many of those on the left did you have?
I unfortunately never got Super Article.
Oh,
I had
really?
Muppet, I had Beyblades, I had that robot thing. I had that robot thing. And I had the iDog, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had the Razor scooter.
I had the Razor scooter.
I had the Razor
too.
scooter as well.
Many a shin were cracked.
Buffett, I know, I
Some of
went
this shit is
crazy on Buffett.
expensive, man. Some of this shit is
Dude,
expensive.
I remember my friend had the moon shoes and I was so jealous.
Yeah.
And then when I actually tried it, I was like, this is kind of ass.
Well, I had a trampoline, which was
Yeah.
slightly better.
Same.
But, what is this shit, man? Like, that Lego thing is not for kids. That's for an adult.
No, in fact, I was very close to buying that.
on here?
Because it is a toy. I've never seen a kid have a. But that's the thing. It's that like toys today now. I think
is wrong with
Oh
you?
yeah, but you can say that about anything.
it's-
You
it's
can say that
always-
about Pokemon cards.
It's always been that way. It's a speculative thing at this point. I feel like that's just like...
When I mentioned that, I was like, yeah, I mean, I had more magic cards that were like fucking expensive.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's predictable. History repeats itself.
It's just the latest next
That generation exists, aka your generation. That thing ain't growing to
Give me, yeah? Oh yeah! Alright! What next? Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Incoming! Alright!
best period of music? Not 2000s versus 2020s. Do you think there is a best period of music?
Depends what you like. At the end of the day, okay. Let's say
I just
you
feel like
are.
rock and roll. There's so many different eras that you could like
Yeah.
like a lot.
It's like, you know-
60s punk was really fucking cool
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. If you like, say, look at like punk music, right? I think most people will tell you that, like, yeah, the beginnings of punk, like late 70s, early 80s, was definitely where it was the peak. You know, you look at like, say, metal music, like, okay, it depends how Puritan are you with these different genres, right? Whereas if you're just a general music enjoyer, I think 2020s I would pick 2020s over 2000s because music has just evolved more in those 20 years. And there is just like more, I guess, like, well, maybe like, I would almost say like less gatekeepiness in the 2020s than compared to the 2000s.
I don't know, because I think about this, and this is probably going to be like a fucking misinformed take for someone who does not know anything about music. I look back at 2000s music, and obviously I have major nostalgia over like 2000s music. Sure. Because that's the era I grew up in. Are there songs that I liked as a kid that I think that my kids will listen to and be like, yo, that was a banger song? I don't know. Do you think that our kids are going to look back at this era of music in the same way we look back at our parents' generation? You know,
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
You think so?
I think
Yeah,
kids
I
are
think so.
already starting to do that. I mean, look at the fact that fucking The Weeknd
I was
brought
gonna
back
say
the
the-
sound of the 80s.
Yeah, the weekend. I feel like will be that in like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But do you think like people will listen to shit like, I don't know, Papa Roach or like Sum 41 and
Dude,
be like,
people stopped listening to Papa Roach like 3 years after they broke out. No one fucking listens to Papa Roach.
I'm sure there'll be like music like that.
yeah.
Like,
But when I hear it, it hits different.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
You know? But,
Yeah.
but that's the thing, right? Is that like it
There
completely
goes a
depends
fucking
on
woman
A,
not having any
what kind of
face
music
fat,
you
but
even
fat as
gravitate
fuck.
towards on a personal
While
level.
I have fucking
B,
face
how much
fat,
nostalgia music
and
plays,
I'm not
because
even
I would
fat
say
as fuck.
music more than any medium plays on nostalgia more than anything. And 3, it depends on how open you are to today's music. If you're completely shut off from today's music and you're just like, nah, anything past like 2010 is all shit and I don't care for it because it's new and I'm gonna stay in my little hug box of the stuff that I grew up with, then yeah, obviously music today is gonna suck. But like, you know, that fucking the Snake album there, the new Deftones album, is fucking amazing. The Weekend stuff, fucking amazing. You know, like there's great music coming out today. It's just it all depends on how you even consume the medium to begin with.
Yeah, well, okay, let's talk about, I guess, I feel like there was good music if you look out for it, whatever era, whichever one of these eras.
Yes.
What about kind of like pop culture in terms of what songs and what artists are dominated modern culture of that time? Like-
What do you mean by that?
As in, you're saying great music is being made now, and I agree with you. Great music is being made now. I think great music is always being made.
Yes.
I think when it comes to discussing which era is better, it's more of like discussing what are the artists and songs that defined that era of music. You know, is this because obviously each era, each decade has different vibes, a different artist that kind of like defines the era of that music. Like for example, rock and roll. It's not like it stopped existing in these eras, but
Yeah.
it definitely
Interesting.
is.
It's not the zeitgeist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
No, totally.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's the thing, right, is that, like, I think, say, for example, you know, hip-hop, more than anything today, is like, the driving force. I would even argue that, in some respects, hip-hop is popular music, because it's and especially when you compare it to, like, the 2000s, it is so much more in the zeitgeist today than it ever was. But then you say, look at, you know, say, like, Deftones, for instance. They were definitely in their peak in the 2000s, or even earlier than that, right? But they're still around today, and they're still making great music. So it's hard to define as a whole, because each genre has moved and shifted in completely different ways. And it depends on, like, in your mind, if you're thinking of it in, like, a Puritan status, it's like, okay, in your mind, where do you personally view the genre fell off? Or where do you personally view it as it peaked? Is it commercial level? Is it like quality level, depending on how you define it? It's like too multifaceted, I feel like at the end of the day, pop music, I think, is so much more interesting today than it has ever been because people are more open to different genre combinations.
I'm listening to any of this shit.
The fact that country music is coming back now is like, no one fucking saw that coming in the 2000s.
I didn't even know it was gone or that it was back or anything to country music. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, well, I'm talking to the wrong crowd here.
I'm sorry. I wish I could engage you more.
My straight up answer is like,
Neither.
it's too broad of a topic. But I will say 2020's music is probably better because there's more experimentation now because there's just been more time to
Also
experiment
more
with
access
genres.
to making music.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
And also just the fact that the internet has granted independent musicians to actually have a fucking chance.
Yeah.
In the two,
rappers, God bless.
well, not even. Yeah.
I know, I was kidding. I was
Yeah.
kidding.
No, but like that's the thing though. Like sites like Bandcamp now are actually giving independent artists who probably had close to zero chance of ever breaking it into the mainstream now, because of the internet, actually have a chance to like get a fan base and make money, and sometimes be more successful than these quote unquote mainstream artists. Whereas in the 2000s, if you weren't part of a major label, you had no fucking chance.
Yeah.
So I think 2020s is better in terms of music.
Yeah, you have to be good to rise to the top.
Yeah,
Or
you
have
actually
great
have to be
marketing.
good. Yeah, good marketing, or you actually have to be good, or be actually unique to stand out.
Let's
You
do the
know?
final slide then. For this episode. Joey, take it away.
2000s versus 2020s fashion.
I mean,
well, jorts are coming back, right?
everything comes back. What I've learned is that everything comes back.
Denim is coming back now.
The only thing that doesn't come back is like fucking 1930s or 1950s.
Like the pubes.
Victorian fits.
Yeah.
But then, Lolita and I even got recommended this one subreddit. I don't even know what it was called. It was some fashion term I'd never heard of.
Okay.
People loved it. And it seemed like Lolita to me, but I guess it was adjacent to Lolita.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I think fashion is literally whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. I think 2020s is probably better in this case as well because now people have more freedom to be independent and like self-expressive.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah.
I will tell you one thing.
2000s as emo.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you one thing that I don't fucking miss is the emo and scene kids fashion.
You don't miss that?
I do not miss that.
No, I think
I
think
hated it back then, and I still hate it now.
Fuck off.
It's. I don't
cringe
care.
back then.
I don't care. It is cringe. It's
don't
cringe.
care, man.
And look,
I
if
don't
that
know.
made you happy, then good on
I
you.
won't lie. I hate mullets.
Do same.
Mullet has an aura to it of like, you're just like, I don't want to fucking hang out with that kind of person.
I look at a mullet and I'm like, you. I don't know why. I can't prove it, but you probably beat your wife. I just.
On my flight back this morning, there was 3 dudes next to me who had mullets. Yeah. And they were the exact type of personality you thought they were.
Yeah.
And when the plane was taken off, I saw his phone, and it was just him scrolling through Instagram. Every single post looked like another fuckboy at another party. I'm not kidding. It was the exact kind of like. Look, I'm guilty. I love a good phone snoop of strangers. I love seeing what strangers like, what they follow, what that feed looks like.
Sure.
Yeah, the mullet energy.
God damn it.
Not what I fuck with.
Not at all. Did you ever own a pair of skinny jeans?
Yeah, I used to exclusively wear skinny jeans.
Oh really?
Up until like 4 years ago.
Oh shit.
4 or 5 years ago, I used to wear only skinny jeans.
I don't think I've ever owned a pair of skinny jeans.
But I'm like the worst person to wear them because I have such fat, badass legs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how did you?
How did you get them on?
Yeah.
The Uniqlo stretch ones, stretch jeans.
Oh.
I would have low taper, so bottom would taper, and then the top was like normally baggier.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. 2000s is just better.
You're just playing devil's advocate, and I respect.
There goes the local helicopter trying to shut me down.
The fucking hip hop fashion and baggy fashion.
Yeah, 'cause this was at the peak of the bling era.
That was fun. That was fun.
That was fun. I will admit.
2000s was a fun era for fashion. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean it was all good.
Well, it was good for we're only saying that because we're looking back at the 2000s. We're gonna look back at the 2020s and be like, yo, this is so cringe.
Well, I think
yeah.
like certain things will keep and other things will drop.
Yes.
What do you mean? Every fact, like you know, even like from here and stuff. I think some of the stuff, some fashion aspects we've kept on to, and other ones that we've just
Well, no,
we've got
because
rid of. Like
fashion just goes in a circle anyway.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
there'll be a time probably in 10 years where 2000s fashions comes back, and there'll be.
I would argue it's already back. And you know what? Didn't come back with it? The emo and scene kids. Because it evolved into golf.
I saw someone who, and I've made this argument in Trash Station before, and I'll make it again. There was a post I saw on Twitter that they were talking about. There was like some extravagant looking suit. It was like crazy. It had like capes and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, why can't men wear this? And then someone quoted tweet had like 200k likes. They're like, men will make fun of women's fashion and then wear the exact same suit. I'm like, shit, don't you dare change the suit.
Why the hell are they just recycling content?
This is good and it's enough.
Exactly.
It's the only piece of fashion that we have as men that we can all rely on and we all agree is acceptable for formal situations.
Yeah.
The suit does not need to be changed. Do not change it. Change aspects of it, upgrade little bits. Don't you fucking dare change the suit. It's the only thing that we have.
Yeah.
Helpless men who know nothing about fashion, they know they can put on a damn suit and they'll look good. It's the only thing we have.
Facts.
Don't change it.
Say it louder.
That's right. That's what I mean. Don't fuck with the suit. It is ours.
It is. It is.
When you talk to girls like, I don't know what dress I'm gonna wear. And boys, I'm like, I know what I'm gonna wear. It's a motherfucking suit.
I have one choice.
And thank God we have that because we don't have to think. We just gotta get that goddamn suit and we hope we fit in it.
We
That's
hit
all.
hundreds of years ago.
And you know what? There has never been a case where you don't be like, God damn, you look good. When your friends wearing the suit, you all think like, God, he dressed up.
Yeah,
He looks great.
immaculate.
It's you know what I mean? It works.
Yeah,
it works.
Men, do not change the suit. We've hit gold. Let's
We
stick
have.
with it. If
Yeah.
other men want to add things to it,
for
change
hundreds
it.
of years.
Good, yeah, let them change it if they want to change
My
it.
eyes are literally
They're
killing me.
educations. Our suit and our core values of the suit will not change. We're keeping the damn suit.
You know what is one like fashion resurgence that I have just
Why is it hurt?
never understood how it happened? Well, how did Crocs become cool?
Because they moved to like limited drops, and they just changed the whole marketing around it.
Because was this the same thing in the UK where like if back in the 2000s when Crocs came out and you were caught wearing Crocs, then it was like, oh, I can bully you.
Yeah. But
Yes.
because they were marketed at like kids, but now they've kind of gone the
I
hype
mean,
beast now.
they're still marketed to kids.
Yeah, but they're like more hype beast now.
Yeah.
But now it's Birkenstocks, bro.
No.
Yeah, Birkenstocks. No, Birkenstocks have been around for a long time. Yeah, but Birkenstocks are in now. I wear them. I know.
Dude, Birkins were around in like fucking 2012.
No, I'm telling you, they've replaced the croc metal.
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
You know what the bear is right now? It's Jordan Crocs.
Who's in Kyushu?
So I'm the closest, and God is the furthest.
Damn.
I was 180 kilometers.
Check that out and support the show in the process. Head on over to patreon.com/trashtaste. Also
They're
follow us on
literally
Twitter,
targeting
send us
me, I
emails on
saw
the
that.
subreddit, and you can hit our face, listen to us on Spotify. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
POV, Your Google search is all about futures trading.
If you've been watching trading videos for months, reading up charts, indicators, strategies, but still haven't taken that first step, start with Plus 500. It's actually made for beginners. Super intuitive, nothing overwhelming. And you can even fund your account with as little as $100. They've been around for nearly 20 years. Over 30 million users worldwide. That's why I chose them. Futures trading isn't just for pros. Try Plus 500 now.
Trading in futures and options carries substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor.
A total reinvention of your old push-ups. No itchy stitching. No painful wires. If this isn't the dream for...
Hey, first of all, can we all agree that going to Pizza Hut in the early 2000s was so fucking hot? When we were around, I mean, even before our time, slightly, it was like the hypest and coolest part of being a kid. Like, we talked about this before, but like going to McDonald's.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Pizza Hut.
yo, corporations, let's go.
It was sick, dude. It was sick. It was sick, man. Gamers, welcome back to another episode of Trash Tapes. I'm your host Connor, once again joined by the boys Joey and Gar.
So ominous.
Yeah.
It's good up to there's a phrase, there's a quote that I got from Wesley, but it's basically when they want wish to punish us, they answer our prayers. Disrespecting what has been past and very a lot of franchise.
I just realised we just assumed everybody has watched Trash Tapes for 3 years. In case you don't know, he's a very talented composer. Some nice shows. Yeah.
So why don't we do a short list of the stuff? So you mentioned Slice and Wolf.
Spice and Wolf, Made in Abyss,
Made in Abyss. We
Shield
got
Hero,
Shield Hero, Tower of God.
Tower of Gods,
Fuck, what else have we got?
Star Wars Visions,
Star Wars.
as you just said, Pokemon.
Yep. I'm forgetting something. Oh, Apothecary.
I forgot.
That's right.
Apothecary Diaries.
Basically, he's the goat.
I know the other guys feel the same. I always just forget because you're just I think of you as Kevin the Bloke.
Yeah.
So like I always forget. Like when I watch.
I've worked very hard for that. I've worked very hard for that personality trait. Thank you very much.
Apothecary Diaries. I'm like, fuck, he's so good, isn't he? Damn it. Yeah, I do forget that.
I genuinely think though that is one of Kevin's strongest suits is that you're just so
Yeah.
And look, I don't mean to suck you off right from the get go.
Let me just.
Thank you. But like one thing that I've always appreciated about you as a composer is that you're just so incredibly versatile to the point where you're watching a show and you almost forget that, oh, this is the same guy who did all these other shows because you're so good at just honing in on like a particular vibe and a style that works just so naturally with the shows that it, like you know, if you listen to, say, for example, just like the Made in Abyss soundtrack versus the Tower of God soundtrack, you would not think that that is the same person composing these songs because they're just so different.
And it's so weird because sometimes I do like seasonals. I do like.
Thank you.
Actually, it's my turn now. Actually, suck your dick, Joey. Get out of the way.
I can just have a coffee, sit back, and
Yeah, there'll be so many times where I do a stream where I go through like all the anime coming out. And I'll just be watching a fucking random ass show, and I'll be like, wow, what is this music kind of slap? And then your name will pop up on the screen, and it's like, of course, he's done it again. Of course, he didn't even tell me he was working on this.
So I must say, obviously it depends on what stage of the ego that I'm in. It is sometimes quite nice to like look at the video and be like, I can't wait for the reaction. The reaction is like weirdly, oddly gratifying, and I don't know if it's good that I get motivation or get satisfaction from that sort of thing. Where it's like, son of a bitch, he's here again. Like I just like appearing out of nowhere.
Look,
do a thing and then fuck off for a bit.
Look, everyone's, at least if you're a YouTuber, everyone's a little bit narcissistic, where, you know, sometimes you just... okay, a little bit. Sometimes you search up clips of people talking about you, and you're like, I shouldn't be nosy, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious. What do they have to say about me?
Well, I think it's important, you know. Some like, you know, feeling that all the time might seem, you know, a little bit like narcissistic, whatever. But every now and then, you know, you gotta just remind yourself that, you know what, maybe I am the goat.
But it's like I am interested in the responses to the soundtracks, because especially, for example, Spice and Wolf, like knowing if like what is and what is not hitting. And like there's even like current collaborations that I'm doing where like I'm quite involved with the creator, and I'm just saying like what is and what is not working, because you know, obviously with a released product it's concrete, it's already done, and you know, it's more like you're just learning perspective for maybe next time or something like that, or like, you know, research for blah 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 blah. But that makes sense. But like it's not every track is going to be like a banger or something like that. It's just A, it's impossible. B, that's not what film music really is. It's like, you know, film music is about blending in. It's about being, well, it's about contouring in certain ways. Obviously, there's different types.
word.
Oh, no, it's a great word. Well, my favorite film score actually is from Gravity, the 2013.
Oh, really?
The Clooney,
Sandra Bullock.
That score, the way I describe it is it bent around the picture like water. Like water in a cup.
Right.
Like, you know, like beat the cup.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that. I've never seen or experienced a film music score bend tempi, texture, and just have it sync up in such a way, like if she's floating away and all of a sudden she drops back, then the tempo ramps up and it changes directions, and it's very, what I would call very parallel score for the most part, but like just done in a really, it's electronic, but it's not electronic, just very organic, and it's very fluid. And so that was like some of the best example I found I was in college at the time. I remember watching this, and like it was one of the best like 3D experiences I ever had in cinema as well. I was like, oh, this actually feels like a really good use of like putting on the glasses and having a genuinely better experience with
It
the film.
felt like everything was 3D as well.
Yeah, no, at all. I'm not sure if they did it naturally in 3D, but they might have, because it was just very, very immersive. Very, very cool. And then you hear that thing in like Atmos, and you're like, I'm cool. Yeah.
Until it deafens you.
I don't care about that. I could not give a shit. Oh, dude.
You're probably like, this is a normal volume. To me, I'm like, Jesus,
Oh,
turn
no,
it up!
no. Because now you just remind me of another. For some reason, like it wasn't given as much love as I thought it should have. But Tenet.
Oh, I fucking love Tenet.
I love Tenet.
Dude, everyone calls me a fucking loser for saying that I love Tenet.
Nah, well, they're wrong. Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Sorry, I have to before I knock the mic.
I'm happy.
No. So Tenet is like literally, like, I'm sorry, it's probably one of my favorite cinema experiences, IMAX experiences I've ever had in my life.
Damn. Yeah.
Because I remember when that fire truck scene kicks in, and you're in IMAX, and we got like the premium seat,
Right,
and we're
yeah.
fucking just there. And when that fire truck scene comes in, and like he's like sampling like fire trucks as when you're ducking with the kick sub something
Subharmonic?
No, compression. Like you compress something over it and you're ducking. I'm gonna call it ducking. Basically, he's taking a fire truck sound and he's ducking it over a kick drum. I'm gonna feel like an idiot when I remember
None
it.
of that stuff means
Yeah,
anything.
basically, if you ever fire truck,
Someone kill this guy.
nah, it's a compression
fucking
thing,
kill
like
him.
subcontracting or something like that. Yep, I'm just.
Subcontracting?
Nah,
I do that.
I went to music school.
Like, you make the music sound good.
Yeah.
Well, working with
Yeah.
Kevin, I realized that sometimes you would try to like talk about technical stuff, and he'd be like, "Yeah, you know, we're gonna do the blah blah thing."
Does it sound good?
Oh, well, I mean, side note, if it is good, if it sounds good, it is good, is like a really good mantra. Like, no matter how much technical skill you have, Like, you need, at the end of the day, if it sounds like shit, then it doesn't matter if you've connected X, Y, and Z.
You don't want to
Like,
overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah.
When you were just...
If you've connected X, Y, and Z.
You don't want to overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah.
When you were just...
Oh, well, I mean, side note, if it is good, if it sounds good, it is good, is like a really good mantra. Like, no matter how much technical skill you have, like, you need, at the end of the day, if it sounds like shit, then it doesn't matter if you've connected X, Y, and Z.
You don't want to overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah.
This guy sounds
just
retarded. He should kill
you
himself.
look at reactions and stuff to see people responded
He should
to
just
the
go
music and
off
stuff.
himself on
I
camera.
was just thinking that whenever I've watched like a movie review or a TV show review, oftentimes when people will talk about the show, they'll mention when the music is good. They'll be like, the music is amazing.
Yeah.
But when it's bad, they just never talk about it. Or not bad, or like forgettable. Forgettable.
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
never hear people go like, yeah, no, music wasn't that great. Or, you know, it's more so like, the music was amazing. I loved this scene with this beat, right? So is it hard to get like kind of feedback from people? Because do they oftentimes not say anything? Or am I just not looking at the right
Well,
answers?
I can only use my own experience, of course. Certain shows will garner more illicit comments about the music or not, or more direct comments, I should say, about the music. So, you know, in a show like Abyss, there's going to be more direct commentary about
Music's in the forefront.
There's a little bit more forefront mix, which is obviously very nice.
You're
You have
to listen to me.
You have no idea how hard it was to write this music. Please bring it. No, but like, you know, not every show is like that.
Right,
And you know, sometimes music's mixed quite far back, which is appropriate, quite far back, which, you know, I wish it could have been a little more or something like that. But, you know, it's just the reality of the thing. Like, as a composer for film music, you are, you're like one cog in the machine. You are not the boss. You're just a guy writing a tune. And so at the end of the day, it's like, you can push your opinion and you can say, I think it should be like this, but you're not, you know, you have to be a team player, because if you're not, then you go home. You don't go to work.
So, like, I'm curious, because I don't think I've ever asked you this question, but what is your, like, top 5 favorite soundtracks?
Could be anime, could be film. That might be the hardest question.
Because it's like asking the anime reviewer what your favorite anime is.
That's why I did the 3x3.
Oh, that was the 3 of anime.
Yeah.
But we didn't include film school.
I think it's easier to be like, what are the 5 first that come to your mind?
Thank you.
Because I know.
Like,
I'm still
definitive, ultimate, Kevin Bennett.
Because
no backseat list.
when you put Zanki no Terra or 3x3, I was like, thank you. Someone who also understands, and you are a decorated professional in the industry. Now I can say that this is one of my favorite soundtracks, and it's also backed by my opinion of
it's
one of my.
such a fucking banger.
It's
like,
so-
it's so good. I thought that was work. Like legend status, and she has done things and a half in terms of like the sound she's done. Cowboy Bebop, she's done Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex. She's done Macross. She's done everything. Everything. A real, like, true legend of the industry. But I really gravitated towards that soundtrack. One, because I have a thing for Icelandic music anyway. So, like, I grew up on, like, Sigur Rós since high school. And so I was like really obsessed with post-rock. I started post-rock for a while, and then there was a little bit of influence on that. Obviously, she recorded in Iceland. She recorded an amazing singer called Arnold Dahn for some of the songs, and I liked his voice so much that I actually got him to sing on the most recent Abyss as well, because I was just like, he's too good.
Yeah, I saw his name on there. I'm
Because
like,
I'm such a lovely guy, but I was just like, hey man, so you're really, really cool, and I've got to sing, and it needs to be falsetto, but it needs to like be like, I didn't want to use the same singer that I'd always use for the falsetto stuff, because I already had track planned for him anyway. So I was like, are you in? He's like, I'm in. I'm like, yes.
Let's go.
The way that soundtrack blends also sort of, I guess you would call it effects guitars, I guess. But yeah, like sort of post-rock / electronic guitars. I know it's a weird thing to say, but like electronically manipulated guitars. Strings, piano. She also includes a little bit of Bach in there out of nowhere, which is really, really cool. That one of the tracks is basically just a fugue going on, which for me is really cool. And then the vocal tracks just, I mean, the way that they just had this serenity,
ethereal.
It is very, very
you
good.
wrote the vocals for some of those tracks, because you obviously wrote some very high notes in the first Made in Abyss soundtrack, and then the second one where
Worse
you're
than
like,
the second.
the second one where you're like, I just want to break the limits.
Yeah. Well, I want to see some glass shattering. Well, I feel bad for the guy because he said no.
Which is you handed him a track and he was like, nah, I can't do that.
Well, I had written something, and it was actually for there's a big long song on the what's the third album of Made in Abyss, but the second series. And it's like about a 7.5 minute slow post rock track, basically, with giant orchestra that comes in the second half. And originally, the vocal line was actually written for flugelhorn, which is a slightly bigger trumpet, a more velvety tone. I'm simplifying it, but
Thank you, I appreciate it.
no.
I appreciate the simplification.
Flugelhorn, which is a completely underappreciated instrument, but about
Why
5
are they
people
just
now
coming
will be
from
like,
trying to be
I agree,
professional?
that's
It's just
what
been
I'm
toxic.
but I like fucked around with this like flugelhorn line, and then I was like, this is probably actually physically impossible for the flugelhorn because I made it too high. Because I pitched it up, and then it was not the right time for the trumpet. So obviously I went from flugelhorn to high falsetto voice. So I literally had like no reason, but I was just like, okay, could I add lyrics to it and then chuck it up an octave and then see if it works? And it did not fail. So
This episode of Trash Taste is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Guys, I'm about to blow your mind. Did you know that Netflix has 18,000 shows that are available globally, and only about 7,000 of them are available in the US? Like, for example, unless you live in Japan, you are missing out on a bunch of anime. That is, unless you use ExpressVPN. Because a streaming service like Netflix changes content depending on your location. But with ExpressVPN, you can change your location to where Netflix thinks you're located at. They have servers in over 100 countries, meaning you can gain access to literally thousands of shows at the push of a button. And it works on other streaming platforms too, like Disney+, BBC iPlayer, and many more. It's incredibly easy to use. All you need to do is fire up the app and click one button to change locations. It works on all your devices, whether it be phones, laptops, tablets, smart TVs, and more. And with blazing fast speeds, you can stream in HD with zero buffering. It is rated #1 by top tech reviews like CNET and The Verge. Like guys, for example, one of the most hyped up romance shows, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, is available here in Japan right now on Netflix. But elsewhere in the world, you have to wait until September to watch it legally. And honestly, it's one of the best romances and shows airing this season, so you guys are missing out. So guys, be smart. Stop paying full price for stream services and only getting a fraction of the content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/trashtaste. Don't forget to use the link in the description at expressvpn.com/trashtaste to get 4 months for free. That's expressvpn.com/trashtaste. Back to the episode. I mean, I think Made in Abyss 2 or Made in Abyss Soundtrack 3, if you don't mind me saying, is like some of your best fucking work, man.
I agree. Thank COVID.
Yeah.
Who knew that if an artist was sad, they would write slightly better music?
Also one of the most traumatizing shows in general as well.
It's a racist ass show.
Did you know like the story of 2 when you're writing the music as well? Obviously, I guess.
I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah. I forgot that it's a manga first.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you can do, obviously, as much research as you want. I did a fair amount of research up until a point, and then I find that sometimes taking a quick half step back and just helps, like, because it means that you're not, it's kind of weird to say, you're not pigeonholing your ideas specifically to a scene. Because this music needs to work not just with maybe 1 or 2 intended scenes. It has to happen. It might be used 3 or 4 times throughout the show. So there's a little bit of like, you're not denying yourself information. You're just maybe widening the perspective just a little bit after. And it just helps you write just maybe the track that you didn't think that you'd have to write. It also helps that I bought a fuckload of synth for this.
You kept posting like a new synth. It was like Synth Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
New one.
I mean, look.
Kevin texts me every time he buys a new synth. And he's like, "Look what I bought."
I don't even think Kevin like knows he's working. I think he's just paying off debt.
It's just like some people like to collect trading cards. Kevin just collects synthesizers.
Yeah, synths and watches are the things that I just fucking but one is for business, one is for pleasure. No, the synth thing, I got a new one.
Yeah.
And,
How many synths is that now?
Fuck. Okay, so one.
Because the last time I went to your house and we wrote that album
Yes.
today, I think you had like what 5 in that office?
Fuck. Okay, so it's
6. Sorry, because you bought the
so-
new finger continuum.
Yep, the finger continuum. Yeah.
Continuum.
So there's a Moog one.
I think I've watched that video.
Yeah, About the Springs, right? You want to bring back the fucking Spring conversation from 3 years ago? Because we can. We can go get Hungry Jack's. I can throw a patty somewhere. No, I got so Moog one, my matriarch, Harken Continuum, Polybrew, Arterial Polybrew.
Which is such a cool name.
Yeah, it's good.
Polybrew was fun.
Yeah, Polybrew's fucking great. And then now Prophet 10. So,
Prophet 10.
Prophet 10.
These names are so sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Prophet 10.
That's one of
Just
those.
as epic as they sound.
Yeah,
as well.
Right.
I'm not in the business of potentially saving the money.
She's been life is
I mean, look, honestly, do you like? I understand like being practical, especially in modern times. Like being practical about like don't be an idiot with spending cash and all that sort of thing. But like, first off, this is something that makes your job better, and then so it's an investment in your quality. But also,
This sounds like my conversation with my accountant.
It is.
I love when a professional calls their purchase investments.
Fucking A.
It's all wrong. Look, we are all guilty of maybe some purchases that perhaps weren't necessary. But
Oh, this is absolutely necessary.
It makes sense.
I'm saying mine are not necessary. And I have the yours is more necessary than
Well, put it this way: without those big boys in the studio,
Sounds good.
it would have sounded much worse without. And also, like, it gives you like new. And you know this as well. Like, it just gives you like new ideas because like you're not when you're writing in front of a computer all the time. You're gonna eventually like you have to trick the brain into doing something new because you're just gonna sit in front of the computer and do the same thing. It's gonna start sounding stagnant. And you were saying before very kindly, like how do you do the range thing? How do you go from this project to that one to that one to that one? Just changing the process, maybe not changing all the process, but changing enough of the process to actually just try and think about things a little bit differently. Listen to new things, even just starting with like mimicking some different style and trying to make it part of your personality. All those sorts of things come into play, and the key really, which is a double-edged sword, is time. So you just need time to do this, which sometimes you don't get. So these projects sometimes run on a very tight schedule, and you don't want to fail. You don't want to fail both as the creator, you don't want to fail as a professional, but you also want to do something that hopefully sounds really good, and that takes sometimes time. So,
Yeah, that's why every time I meet you, your life is in a perpetual state of like crunch.
It's more about right now. The objective is I mentioned 2023 as like a break year, like a make or break year because I got to the end of it and I was beyond cooked. I tend to not like break down that much,
Right.
But like there was a time during that year where I was like quite upset quite frequently, and that's when I knew that's the beginning of okay, I need to change this now.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the work output and saying yes and no to things. Of course, there's an element of that, but it's actually also about like trying to find balance in your day to day and actually do things throughout the day, throughout the week, planning wise as well.
What is this
that
bullshit? I'm
help
really
you
crying.
structure your life in a way where it doesn't become complete chaos. A little bit of chaos, maybe some chaos, maybe up to 50% chaos is maybe manageable. It's like we all probably have managed chaos. To some degree, as H.
I mean, 2023 was a fucking busy year for Trash Taste as well, man. I think back to it, like, we were fucking... I swear all of us were going overseas at least once a month to do some kind of work. We had tour, we had so much shit going on that year.
Yeah, travel's brutal. Travel fucks you. I don't care what type of class of flight you take, it still fucks you at the end of the day.
The worst part is that I always like forget that when I'm planning.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can do like 3 flights this month. And then when I get to the future and I do it, I'm like, man, I fucking suck. What are they
It's like,
doing?
theoretically, this is fine.
What is a 14-hour flight? Like half a day. Well, I can manage.
It's like, I'll just play video games and watch anime, and then you're on the flight and you're like, I hate it. It's like, I want to die.
Well, the one downside to 30, Connor, which...
Oh, no. Okay. I feel so cold.
I don't know, and I must ask as well, how's your brain fog? Like on tired days, how's your brain fog?
Bro, sleep schedule has never been more important in my life.
Yeah. Pretty bad brain fog already, I think.
Well, welcome. Honorary 30. Honorary.
I feel like my memory is particularly shit. And sometimes when I'm tired as fuck, it's really hard to focus on anything. And I'm like,
Do you sometimes feel, like, am I getting dumber?
Yeah. Do you feel like I'm getting
Every day. Every day.
Like, there's some things where I'm like, I swear it wasn't this hard to just think when I was like in my 20s.
By the way, side training is what I was looking for. Side training. From 20 minutes ago. I've known this terminology for fucking 16, 17 years.
This thing where sometimes I just look for a word. I'm like, I know the word, and I've said it so many times, and then now my brain is like that.
You don't know. It's the most thing you have to find a word for this. Like, I have a good word for this, and then you're trying to convince the person. I know the word. I swear, I have someone say my name and tell me it's the reason for it.
I sat down, I had an idea, it wasn't shit, I wrote it, and it didn't require any revision, thankfully.
Yeah.
And that's not and it's not about being overly lazy or something like that. It's about like, okay, what, like,
I hope you don't do this in professional interviews, by the way. Do you? When they're like, Kevin, we loved your last soundtrack. We want to know what was the inspiration behind this song? It's like, wrote song, liked it, released it.
it's the truth though.
Actually, yeah, knowing you would probably. I've seen Kevin interviews. He's just the bloke.
Problem is I'm getting worse because, like, it is sometimes very simple, and maybe you know when this whole meme shit started with the beep and boop stuff like fucking half a decade ago. You were probably fucking onto something, to be honest.
People simple today, they don't like the truth.
No, simple is some, and this is why I'm happy.
Yes.
This is why I'm happy now, because in 2023 I was thinking so much. I was like, sometimes, you know, obviously do your research, be a professional, do like absorb yourself in the project.
Yeah.
But once you're there, just be happy. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
No,
for sure.
of grandeur, just make the music.
No, because then you can write some fun stuff. And obviously, like, at some point, you gotta you need to attach meaning, you need to attach purpose to it. There are times where it's very appropriate to do that sort of deep dive analysis and be like, this is why I did this. This is why it's connected to this. I mean, yeah, I was talking to a client earlier today that it was like literally I was like, oh, this is why we're doing this and blah 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 blah. Like doing all that, analysis essentially, or like unpacking why you've done the music this way, why you've written that track that way, why it's fun, why it's why you're satisfied with it or not satisfied with it yet. There's times for that, but then sometimes it's just like, mate, I was just I just fucking did it. I did it and did it. Felt good. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, I guess this is a good point to talk about your latest projects. Or should I say our latest projects? Because by the time this episode is out, it probably would have been announced by now that I'm making an anime. And,
You made an anime.
I made an anime. It is finished by the time this comes out. Maybe, or at least announced. Yeah, at the time of recording, we're still midway through production, and we're still having meetings basically every week, including with Kevin as well. We had one just before the shoot right now, and I can confirm everything that Kevin is saying. As now not just your mate, but a collaborator, and I guess the project lead for this.
Yeah, you're my boss.
Lead. So we'll be going over a track, and Kevin's just like, okay, so this is the track for this scene. What do you think of blah blah blah? And I say blah blah blah, but he literally will use the term blah blah blah.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Did you know what I meant?
I know what you meant.
Don't complicate it. Life is complicated enough. It'll rear its ugly head again.
That is a blah blah blah.
Yeah. It's imaging.
Yeah. So we'd be listening to this track, and he'd be like, okay, so I was thinking about adding the piano here, and it's doing a little bit of a like diddly blah blah blah. Do you want me to change that? And I'm like, maybe a little bit, maybe I'm thinking this, and I'm like, he'll write in his notes, okay, change the